do you explain autism? This is the next question. I just wanted to let you know, this is the next question. How do you explain autism to someone who doesn't understand or know about it? Well, you're going to have to use metaphor. I mean, that's why I use the autistic werewolf, is because, werewolves are shifters. And instead of shifting from human to werewolf, we shift between worlds. An autistic world, which is a world that has our way of understanding things, and the neurotypical world, which has the world the way that all the rest of you understand it. And the divide, instead of being, something that, where a person shifts from being a person to a werewolf, we shift from being a person who lives on the autism spectrum to a person who lives in the neurotypical reality. And they are effectively two separate worlds. And when you are autistic, learning the world that you are not native to, which is the neurotypical world, is a challenge. Now, as you go further, you can talk about the fact that, we don't process sensory information the same. We don't process social information the same. We're not born with the common sense contextual matrix that neurotypical people are born with. It appears that neurotypical people have a template that they call common sense. And autistic people aren't born with that shared social common sense, because that's what it is. It's a socially networked common sense that all neurotypical people seem to be born with. And when you are autistic, not only are you not born with that cognitive common sense model, you have to build an understanding of the common sense neurotypical model that you've never seen. And you do it one cognitive brick, one contextual brick at a time. And that's why it is difficult for an autistic person in the very beginning, because you have fewer resources, you have fewer bricks. And you have to build a personality. You have to build a coping system. You have to build a way of understanding humans and what they expect and what they need and what their words mean and what their expressions, what their facial expressions mean, and what their frames of reference and what their voices mean when the voices change. All of these things are things that autistic people have to build, that neurologically typical people have imprinted, because they are by definition social. And because they are social, it's almost like a breeder reactor. They get together, and when they get together, that social network feeds all of them. And autistic people live on the outside of that social network. And that would be how I would explain autism. And the other thing, the other big piece of it is, like I said, the werewolf. There are natures unique to the autistic experience that make the neurologically typical people uncomfortable, afraid. Some people watching somebody having a meltdown, they become afraid. They become shocked. They become revolted, just as if they'd seen a werewolf. And that's part of the autism experience as well. So I would explain it like that. And that would give them at least a basic understanding of what it is to be autistic. That's how I explain it. That's the whole purpose of this channel. That's the reason why I call myself the Autistic Werewolf, is because I want people to embrace the things that are the most frightening about autism, the meltdowns, the things that make people afraid, the things that make people uncomfortable, the things that people just don't understand. I lead with that because I'm not ashamed of who I am. You know, if somebody wants to define me by my meltdowns, I don't have a problem with that. I know that I'm more than that. But that's usually where people want to start because that's the brightest light. That's the loudest thing. That's the thing that they're most concerned about. I don't have a problem with starting there. Because once they understand the meltdown, they're going to say, okay, now that I understand the meltdown, what else is there? And then I can introduce them to the real me. And a lot of times by the time I finish introducing the real me, I've got another friend. So like I said, that's how I go about explaining autism to people that don't know about it. You know, I can't say it's right, but it works for me. And there's the answer to that question. Thank you.